What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lifted Opinion Podcast. This is episode 5, where I'll be sitting down with Dom, going over her journey with marijuana. She's actually got some really great insight because she's dealt with physical injuries from being an athlete all through high school and being pre-Olympian. So it'll be a really interesting conversation for people to hear. She's also a mother, and, raising a child and, having the ability to be able to relax and smoke is something that not a lot of people talk about. So I really hope you guys enjoy this conversation. Let's get right into the episode. All right. What's up, Dom? I think you're muted.
Oh no, stoner problems.
Started off right. I love it. I fucking love it.
We were just talking about audio issues, man.
Right? It is definitely the bane of my existence on PC. So first and foremost, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi guys, I'm Dom Granite. My name's Dom. And yeah, I just started doing some content creation. I started streaming on Twitch in, I think, April it was. It's been 5 or so months, according to my badges on my channel.
Right.
Because otherwise I don't know.
Yeah. Real facts.
I'm in school right now, so
nice.
I spend a lot of time doing that and managing my 3-year-old, so it's just kind of like everything's a blur.
I feel you. I don't specifically feel your situation. I don't have kids, so I don't know that I could do the children thing myself personally. I'm just too selfish.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that before in chat. So yeah, no, I get that. I didn't really think it was gonna be for me, but it's fucking sick.
No, I know if I did, if something happened and it was like perfectly safe kind of deal. I know that I would be a good dad. I think that I have the patience that I'm pretty sure that I wanted from my parents. With know what I mean, and but would still kind of have like a stern hand. You know what I mean? It's really hard to explain. But I would want to be as balanced of a parent as possible, because I think that it's really important for your kids to think of you as the first option when something happens.
That's the hardest thing every day.
I remember when I was younger and I would do something wrong, I didn't want to tell my parents. That was the last thing I wanted to do, because I knew it meant me getting in some kind of trouble, maybe getting my ass whooped, whatever the case may be. So my focus was just don't fuck up. Because I had an older brother that was responsible for a lot of that. He'd fuck up, and eventually my dad would kind of come to this idea, okay, you saw him do this, you saw him mess this up, so you should know that this is something that you can't do. You should know that this is a place that you shouldn't visit. You know what I mean? This is an avenue that you shouldn't pursue. And I would still remake some of his mistakes, and I would get in even more trouble because I watched him do it. So it's it would be really difficult, I think, to find that balance, but that would be my goal if I were to pursue parenthood.
That's exactly what we deal with.
Kudos to you and all the other people, because I know a lot of people that said the same thing. Oh, I started out thinking it wasn't for me, and then it ended up being exactly what I thought, or what I never thought it could be, which is the most important thing in my life. And I envy that in some ways. I think that's why I have cats. It's my way of showing my envy towards that situation. It's well, I have cats.
Yeah, definitely. I had a cat before I had my kid, and it was always just kind of well, that's a fucking responsibility,
Yeah, it is. It is almost like having a child. Not exactly, though.
Mine is pretty close. My cat is pretty close. She is a fucking needy bitch.
Oh my god, yes, trust me, I know. Is she 7?
She's not.
I feel 7 is the age where they start becoming bound to you by the hip.
Dude, I got her 7 years ago, so she's 10.
Oh really? Oh, you got her when she was 3? Oh wow.
Like, God, she was a stray,
Oh
but
okay.
she was so shy in the shelter, man. And we get home and she gets comfortable and she's just like meow, 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 meow all the fucking time.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. So
Like I had cats growing up, but they were not like her at all.
so you
She's
found
so
her on the
fucking annoying.
street?
No, I got her at the shelter.
Oh, you got her at a shelter. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I have to ask because I remember we had this conversation that you played sports in high school.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if I had to guess, I wouldn't guess you started smoking in high school, like a lot of people didn't. Yeah, see, that would have been
It
my
was
guess.
it was the end of high school, but I
The end
didn't
of high school.
actually start smoking until I was probably like 21,
Oh,
20.
21. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
so you
smoked a
waited
couple
that.
times in high school, but like
Mhm.
I don't really know what the fuck I was doing instead. I worked too much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you guess.
Well, I mean, the only reason I say that is because, like, I know for a lot of athletes, like, your body's like your temple, and
Mhm.
your focus is to keep it as healthy as possible so that you can compete at the highest level. And I know
Right.
that you were talking about possibly going to the Olympics and pre-Olympic training and stuff like that. So my thought process was that she probably didn't touch it in high school.
Well, so when I was 15-ish, I started going through a lot of like hip injuries while I was playing soccer and running track.
Okay.
And that kind of evolved into a lot of doctor's visits trying to figure out why it was happening over and over again. Because I would literally like kick a ball and my hip would dislocate. And they were like, "You're 15 years old. This isn't normal."
Oh shit.
And so finally I got an MRI and they were like, "Oh, you have spina bifida." So like the tail of my spine didn't fuse shut properly, so I have, like, nerves passing through, and, I have, like, a very mild version to where I just have, like, pain all the time. It, like, comes and goes depending on the positioning of my spine, but there's, like, more extreme versions of spina bifida where you are wheelchair prone,
Yeah.
like so, um, that and then on top of that, I had already had scoliosis that they knew about. Great doctors not finding the one is detectable at birth,
Yeah.
detectable in utero, actually, spina
Oh
bifida
really?
is. Yeah, so they really fucked up there. But, yeah, so, like, I had to stop playing sports, and I got really depressed.
Oh
And
man.
I was also in a lot of pain, and they were trying to get me to, take opiates, and I wasn't my grandma especially wasn't gonna let me do that at, like, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So, I just kind of skirted by on like a leave and stuff like that.
Right.
Uh, until my friend Ben that I worked with at the movie theater was like, "Hey, my brother brings weed from Canada and Colorado regularly. Do you think that'll help you?" And I was like,
I'm willing to
"Dude, I
try.
don't." I did not have a good relationship with weed at the time.
Oh really? Oh no.
um, when I was like 3, maybe, my mom married my middle sister from my mom. She married her dad, and he couldn't keep a job and literally like only sat in the basement, played Madden, and
Oh, not
smoked
Madden.
weed.
Don't you
Yeah,
put that shit on my Madden
I'm
though.
sorry. I'm
Oh
sorry, bro.
no, dog.
I know.
Oh, I gotta light
Um,
my joint now.
I know, dude. I know it's so hard, especially as a parent who games. Like it's hard.
That's deep.
But like I was literally like kindergarten age, making my own food like all day.
Oh no.
And he was just so neglectful, like literally didn't do anything. And it took like a year of that, like getting really bad for my mom to be like, "Okay, I'm out of here." But because of that, I had a really bad view of people that smoke
Yeah,
weed.
I would
And
imagine. Yeah.
like all my other relatives that smoked too, and they were open about it. Like most of the problem family, they're mom's Facebook name right now is Mary Jane. So if that tells you anything about
Good
them,
God.
yeah. But they all just gave me a very negative picture of what that meant for your life. And so
Yeah.
I just didn't even fuck with it. And when someone that I like really like trusted as a friend was like, "Hey, this will probably help you," I was like,
Why this, right?
yeah, like why is this the thing? And then I got high.
So what he like brought some to work and you guys smoked up or
No, I was really like we had hung out at his house a lot and I was cool with his mom and we went and we were watching The Lord of the Rings, I
wow,
think.
what a movie to watch in your first stoner situation.
Yeah, dude, I ended up having to leave.
That's a long ass movie though. I feel you.
Like I was a little too high for it.
Oh. Yeah, that shit do get deep. I mean, when the ring race is in the road, and this motherfucker Frodo looked to the side like, "Get off the road!"
Yeah,
I was like, "Bruh,
I
yeah,
was a little too high for that shit.
yeah, man, that's not a vibe." I feel you.
So yeah, that like his mom made us these like Costco chicken ranch bacon pockets
Oh
things,
no, not the
and
munchies.
it was amazing. And then I was like, wait, too much. I gotta go. And like the whole drive home, it was like I felt like I was driving like 80, but I was only going 35, man. I was like, whoa, I gotta slow down.
I gotta slow down. Oh,
It was
oh
the time of my
no,
life, bro.
that's funny.
I swear it was ridiculous.
I always like appreciate hearing someone who smoked for the first time and got high the first time they smoked. I always appreciate hearing that because I
You
envy
walked
that
me through
because
how to do it.
yeah, because like I wish I had somebody there. I was like, yeah, no good.
I wanted this to come back up because he was telling me what to do.
Right.
And he was like, now you just, let it burn. Because we smoked out a bong. Bad
Okay.
idea.
Oh, bad idea.
Uh,
Oh no. Yeah, bongs are they hit hard. They hit very hard. Oh, it was a
he's
big
like,
one? Oh no. Oh no. He came ready to test you. Test your metal. That's what he was ready to do.
bro, I swear to God, it
I
was.
respect it. I respect it.
He goes, wow, that's milky. And I had no idea what that meant.
Oh shit. Oh man.
So yeah, when I say I was driving 35, but it felt like I was going 80,
You mean it.
that's why. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I lasted probably 45 minutes into the movie before I had to leave.
Oh my god! They
It was too
they
much.
didn't even make this fellowship yet.
No,
They were just getting to the Shire. You're like, all
no.
right, I gotta go.
I was I was like seeing The Hobbit. It was like
I
I was in
feel
the
it.
future, dude. It was crazy.
You know, which is funny. Like they say it in that movie, like this is like some of the finest weed. At some point, like when Gandalf is smoking with Bilbo on like a
Right.
hilltop, and that kind of always reminds you of like this quote that I heard from Bill Hicks. It's why is marijuana against the law? It grows naturally upon our planet, and doesn't the idea of making nature against the law seem a bit natural?
Hmm.
Kind of like a good segue into my next question for you. Do you think marijuana should be widely legal? Like right now in the US, we have this weird dynamic where marijuana is legal in some states, decriminalized in other states, and completely illegal in some states. And then federally, it is illegal. It's just so many different factors, so many different, variances of how weed is either accepted or not.
Hmm.
Do you think it'd be easier for it to just all be legal, or do you think that there's a reason why drugs like marijuana are illegal, drugs like cocaine and whatnot are illegal?
So one of my biggest like pedestals about anything is education,
Right.
right? So if they were to legalize it federally across the US, we would be rolling out educational information, making sure people were most informed, or we should be at least.
Right.
And so then people would be able to make educated decisions, and they would already have our vast history of like propaganda and actual like research that we've done on its
Fear
effects, long term,
mongering.
short
Yeah.
term. Yeah, so we'd be able to break that down. And it would take away a lot of the negative, like, oh well, everybody will just start smoking weed and get all crazy, like it would take that away because everybody's already smoking weed. And people would literally just be like, oh, well, I guess now that it's legal, I've been smoking weed for the last 15 years.
Oh my
Surprise!
God, right? I mean,
You know, like,
22 million Americans have said yes, they smoke weed.
yeah, and
There's,
like
that's a pretty
I
huge part of the population.
seriously, and like every year I found out about like some relatives or something that have smoked this whole time.
Oh, the whole time, not just like in the
Yeah,
past?
just no, just like the whole time, or in the past, and just like
Yeah.
demonize it and stuff. Because
They
like
could have had the same situation you did, though, right? Like, I mean, just
yeah,
like a bad like experience with it.
yeah,
That
and like my stepdad, I found out 3 years ago that he used to smoke, and then found out that he does smoke still
wow,
after him and
still,
my mom separated. Yeah, so he
wow,
had been like, smoking the whole time, and like you find out shit like that once it starts becoming legal places. People are more willing to talk about it. So it's like if it was federally legal, more people would just be like open about their past consumption to make it less taboo for future generations, or for people right now who have thought about it because it might help them, but they don't want to start because of the taboo, because there's so many people that could actually benefit from weed from a myriad of reasons.
all
But then
facts.
you also take into consideration that we have a lot of debt, and weed is an easy crop to grow.
Oh my God, that's true, man. That's true. I mean, my buddy always tells me like, man, why don't you just grow it? And it's in my opinion, it takes a lot of finesse to grow the kind of bud that like you'd want to smoke. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can grow it, right? But the question is once you finish growing it, are you really gonna want to smoke it? Or is it gonna be some shit that is just like, oh well, I tried, and you throw it away? You know what I mean? So
We've gone through that. We
really,
grew our own weed, and we had some that was like, wow. But the
oh,
first
wow,
couple was like, oh, we fucked this up a little bit. Like, we
damn. So what
probably
did
could
you
have done
do?
something better. Um, well, we had bought some little clones in Colorado and
Yeah.
just like transplanted those, and then ended up cloning them some more. And I can't remember which. I think in the end we've done like probably 12 plants.
Oh wow.
I don't know. And it was all within like a 2 year span. We ended up moving states
Okay.
to somewhere where it's medicinally legal. And
Oh,
so we were like, oh, okay, well, we can have the plants now because I got a med card really fast. And
nice.
the move actually, because they were out of their like biome for even just a little bit, they just shat the bed.
Oh
And
no.
we thought we could save them. The flowers looked so beautiful, but then when it was time to smoke them, it was just like it didn't dry properly or something, or there had been fungus the whole time. And there's a lot of stuff if you like move them around. But like when we just had it stationary, when we were in a non-legal place,
Yeah.
they turned out a lot better because the environment was stable.
Yeah,
Um,
see, I mean, it's the nutrients, it's the lighting, like
the nutrients
cycles,
aren't as bad as you think. And the light cycles, they have little timers for
timers and
them.
stuff. I
So
know,
like,
I know, I know. I'm also fearful. Like, I got cats. I
scary.
don't want the cats to like,
Mhm.
because they're so, they're curious. As soon as
Right.
we bring anything new into the house, it's like these motherfuckers are on it. So,
You can buy little tiny greenhouses, but then you wouldn't be able to grow like plants as big as you want. But like they have some that you can put in like a corner of your apartment that are like 6 feet by like 2 feet
oh
or
wow,
4 feet. Yeah,
That's not
like
bad,
they sell
actually.
them on fucking Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to do that because up here in the Pacific Northwest, for whatever reason, they don't believe in OG. They just believe in like every other hybrid besides OG Kush, and that
Crap,
is
man.
it's such a weird dynamic. I'm like, I always kind of like trip out when I go into a shop and I ask like, hey, do you have any like skunky OG? And you know what they always say? They're like, nah, man. I mean, the closest thing I have, and it's like, whoa. It's been the answer like at every shop that I've gone to up here, and it's heartbreaking because it didn't matter where we went to in LA. Like you could walk into the most random, not know anything about the shop. They're gonna have at least one or two strains of top shelf OG that you can get. And now, if rather or not it's affordable or and all that, like I can't really speak on because some of that shit is
Right.
outlandishly priced. It's true. But will I pay that price for the quality? Fuck yeah. Because to me, I mean, I know it's bougie, but for me smoking bad bud for whatever reason, it doesn't give me the same satisfaction. It doesn't give me the same high. It doesn't give me
No,
the
not at
same
all. Yeah.
like relaxation fact. Like some of the shit that we smoke, I'm not gonna lie, you're melting in your chair. But sometimes that's exactly what I want versus like a sativa where I'm like kind of in my head. A lot of people that smoke sativa say that hey, I get to keep my energy while still feel having like this stony effect. But I think that sativa kind of like attacks my anxiety a little bit for some reason. I don't
Yes.
know why. Like
No. There's
indica is just I don't know it levels me out, man, and I
Mhm.
just the way it is for me.
Well, the way that I explain that to people is, like, say you have somebody who has a
Oh, you lost her.
Put on a show instead. Yeah, we lied, we messed up, we got this one wrong, and now they're like, they had him on. I mean, I don't even want
Dom, I can hear you. Oh, there we go.
weird.
brought in Sanjay
Can
Gupta.
you see me?
Yeah, I
That
can
was
see
really
you.
weird. It just like completely shut down.
That is weird.
Let me try and make it bigger again. How do I make it bigger? Okay.
All right, cool.
You like froze, and I was like, wait, what?
All
Um,
right. Okay.
what the fuck was I saying?
You were talking about the difference
Oh,
between
oh, okay.
sativas and indicas and how they affect
Yes.
you.
Yeah, so like you have someone who has ADHD and they take Adderall and they're able to focus and
Yeah.
function and, kind of come down to normal, right? So, or neurotypical or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever the
So
hell that
like,
means.
so then you have someone who is neurotypical and they take Adderall and then they start bouncing off the walls. And or you have somebody who takes it and they start going like just they come down, right? So that's all dependent on like how your brain is intercepting the chemicals that the drug is giving you.
Gotcha.
And if you have like hormone imbalances or any type of like deficiency in something, right, it will adversely react you as opposed to someone else. So when some people who have high anxiety smoke sativas, they get really high anxiety from it. Like it
Oh,
just triggers that mechanism and causes it to react a lot more. Whereas somebody who like doesn't have anxiety might just feel completely normal from the
yeah.
same exact strain. Like
Yep.
it totally just depends on your like chemical makeup. And like for me, if I have a sativa, I get more anxiety. Like so I have to have if I do a hybrid, it has to be more indica than
Yep.
sativa.
Yep. Yep.
Or else I'm kind of
I,
jittery and weird
I'm
all
in
day.
I'm in the same boat. And it's funny, you know what's funny? I used to only smoke for a long time.
Mhm.
Like Jack Herrera was like my favorite strain for a little while. Blue Dream was my
Good.
favorite strain for a little while. They taste amazing. And for a while I could agree with people when they say like, yeah, I have energy, but I still get a stony effect. And I think it was somewhere like after I broke my foot. I think it was after I broke my foot I just kind of got heavily into indicas, and I had like started smoking perps, which are like hardcore heavy indicas,
Right.
and it just kind of like put me in a position to think like, damn, like have I really been smoking this whole time? Like I just thought I was never higher than when I started smoking OG and perp. And
Right.
eventually it got to a point where I just was like nah on the sativas. So when I talk to people about it, they always think that I'm weird because I'm like, I'd rather smoke OG and then game. It's like, how can you game after smoking an OG? I'm like, because that shit that puts you on your ass helps me focus. It's just, I don't know. I'm just built different, son. I don't know what to tell you.
Mhm. That's literally like when people are talking to me about like how I play Call of Duty, they're like, "Well, how are you hitting those shots?" And I'm like,
I'm stoned. Yeah, straight up.
like,
Straight up.
like,
No one talks about the little bits of focus that it gives you and how you get to dictate that the longer you've been smoking. You know, like when your tolerance is at a certain point, there are moments where like you kind of like I kind of call it like the Super Saiyan effect. Like you kind of try to break past your limit of your
Yeah.
tolerance by doing like something like, you know, for instance, like I'll hit my vape really hard if I really want to feel like fuck for a second, and then allow that fuck to like, you know, mellow throughout my entire being, and then it just
Right.
becomes like,
You ride the wave.
yeah, and then I'm like, all right, dude, let's do it. You know.
Right.
So, but I can appreciate the
Yeah.
people that can smoke sativas for sure.
I had a moment where I every night when I get on and play COD, I grab 2 packs of fruit snacks and hit the pen really hard. The more you know, bro. And one night, the night that my like duo found out that I'm always high when we play,
Oh god, oh no.
this is actually a good story.
Oh, okay.
So we start the match, and this was back when I played on controller.
Mhm.
And we start the match, and I was like, all right, guys, shake that last game off. Like, put your controller down and just shake your hands and like let it go. And one of the dudes was like, oh, I didn't even take my controller out of my hands. And he just like shook his controller, right? And we were like, oh, okay, bro. And I was like, you must be higher than I am. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't smoke. I'm just tired. And I was like, oh, well, I'm really baked right now. And so then like, he goes, oh, like, do you want to back out? And I was like, no, I'm good. I got my fruit snacks. And so I open my little fruit snacks and I dump it onto my desk, and like out pours like 20 fruit snacks. And there's only supposed to be like 10 in these little fruit snack packs. And so I was like, oh, I just got this. And then I was like, wait, never mind. And I didn't say anything. And so then I just went around and like was killing people and doing my thing. And halfway through the game, I was like, guys, I think we're going to win this game, because I had a lucky pack of fruit snacks when this game first started. And they were
Extra
like,
fruit
what?
snacks.
And we're all just like standing on top of Nova roof like idiots. And they're just like, what? And I was like, yeah, it came with like double the amount of fruit snacks in it. This is lucky, guys. And they're just like, what the fuck?
Oh my
And
goodness.
okay,
Oh, y'all what? See, you wasn't talking no bullshit then. They just gotta listen, Lou.
they need to channel the energy.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
think it's
channel it.
I think it's funny that we're still like kind of living in that stigma, right? That like marijuana does certain things. I don't know, like you still hear people call it like dope. So I think they like kind of associate the effects of
That's
like
one of my biggest pet peeves.
I I feel you. Me too. I can't stand it. My neighbor, I got into this like back and forth with him. I like walk outside because he smokes cigarettes on porch, and the smell like it like radiates. And this is during the summer. It was like last year during the summer, and it kind of like radiates through fire. It radiates through our door, and I just kind of got like fed up with it. So I walked outside and I was just like, hey, you know, I come to realize, you're smoking a lot, and it's kind of like always out on the balcony. And I can appreciate the fact that you don't want to get that smell in your house. I understand, but I'd really like to not get that smell in my house either. And we're in the middle of the summer. It's over 80 degrees outside. Kind of neat. The windows open, and
But you're in there smoking that dope.
and then that's what he said. And then he's like, I don't complain when you're in there smoking that dope. I was like, oh, all right. So
Is that what he sounds like?
oh man, I can do. If I'm around anyone long enough, I can do an impression of them. And I shit you not. The first thing he says is, well, I don't ever say anything when you're over there smoking your dope. You know, you're right, you don't. Because you probably only smell it for a second. I vape and I dab. That's it. We don't smoke blunts in this house like that. And if we smoke anything, it's a licorice paper joint. Okay? Which doesn't stink nowhere, anywhere as heavily as he thinks it does. So I got into like this long back and forth with him about that, and I was just like, wow, this guy's really gonna keep smoking, so fine.
Same.
I will too. Yeah, basically that's kind of like how I went about it. Like, that's just how it's gonna be.
Oh man.
But with that being said, I know that this is something we kind of always talk about on the show, and I always want to hear everyone's point of view because I'm actually open to both sides of this, right? Do you feel weed is a gateway drug?
No.
You don't think so?
And not just based off of like personal experience, but when I like started smoking weed, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do everything else.
No, obviously not, right? Like, I mean, I don't think anybody smokes a joint and then just says, "All right, time to try crack." Like, I don't think that that's like the immediate response, but like,
and that's actually a big part of like what I look at intently when I'm studying psychology, because that's what I'm in school for, psychology.
Right.
And so much of, back to what I said earlier, education, so much of the way that we like perceive things, our impulsivity, it all has to do with education and how our parents or our caregiver, whoever raised you and gave you affection, was supposed to teach you lessons. It's how much they made things like taboo and how much they didn't. So like, and that's a strong word, taboo, but like your exposure to those things at a younger age and the way that your parents explain them to you is one of the most, like, prevention in the right way is one of the most powerful deterrents to people trying other drugs. So like, I have a lot of family members that are mentally ill and they smoke a lot of weed or do other drugs, and like crack, coke, meth, like you name it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the fucking Midwest. And my mom wasn't like, oh, cover your eyes. She was more like, this is the reality. Like, they're like that partially because they were doing the, like, XYZ. But then she also explained, like, there's people who are able to function with XYZ. So,
Yeah.
like, I had a pretty, dare didn't work. Don't get me wrong. Like, education works if it's done the right way. Dare did not work.
Dare didn't. Right.
But like, I know a lot of people who weed would be considered a gateway drug for them because their parents were very like, don't do this or you'll become an addict. And those people did become addicts. So we do something, like my grandma was like that to my mom. My mom's an alcoholic. She has been my entire life. I had cats when I was a child named after Hennessy and Bacardi. So like,
oh my god,
it's so much of it is about the way that your society or your environment perceives it. Because it's like, if you have parents that are like, oh yeah, weed is just a thing, it's not really exciting, it's not something to be fearful of, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I need to figure that out. But if you have like a really proper education on it, you're either gonna make an educated decision to smoke weed or you're not. And if you do, then you're like, okay, well, I know about this, but like, I hear this is like kind
Right.
of sus, so I
Yeah.
don't really want to try that. And, I've been offered other drugs in high school, and I wasn't like, "Oh, yes, please, I want to try this. I want to be cool." Like, it all is there's too many factors into making it a gateway drug for everyone, because it is for some, just
Hmm.
depending on your environment and how you were brought up. But for others, it's not. It's really 50-50. But because of that, I say no, because there are a lot of factors where people smoke weed and that's all they ever
That's
do.
all they ever do. Yeah. No, I know plenty of people just like that, and you know, it's. I think it is case by case, and I think that's probably the best way to say it is it's truly 50-50. I just, Bill Murray said in an interview, I find it quite ironic that the most dangerous thing about getting weed is getting.
Hmm.
So, like, while, some may perceive it as a gateway drug, weed in itself isn't nearly as dangerous as whatever else they might try, whether it's like
Right.
psychedelics or prescription drugs, whatever it is, Um, so I just find that really funny. When we
I
kind of
had
have that back and
read
forth.
I had read a really long opinion piece a while back about getting your wisdom teeth pulled is actually one of the like leading gateway drugs.
Really?
Because when you get your wisdom teeth pulled, that's when a lot of people are introduced to hydrocodone for the first time.
I got. I think I did. I get that when I got something strong when I got my wisdom teeth.
Yeah, you usually get a mixture of like some kind of opiate and like Tylenol or
I think
something.
I got Norcos. Yeah, my girlfriend says. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And then a lot of people become addicted to that
yeah,
type of high, and they search for that, and it's a lot of people can get weed and just be like, okay, this is enough for me. But then there's
yeah.
other people who it gets dark really fast, and that's why um a big like message in the um what do they call it, the like opioid pandemic or epidemic or something like that, whatever their
Yeah.
little name for it is. So many people that become addicted are people who receive a prescription first, and that tells you a lot.
And it's pharmaceutical companies. I'm not gonna lie. All right, I broke my foot. There is no way in hell I was gonna smoke a blunt to deal with that pain and be okay. So I'm not. I'm not gonna sit here and kind of like speak from like a high tower of like morality,
Not at all.
um, because it would be foolish, right? Like these drugs are very useful, right?
Hmm.
And they have their uses and certain variances and degrees. With
They
that
just
being
don't control
said,
them well enough.
yeah, with that being said, it needs to be maintained a lot better than it has been over the last decade. Over the last decade, prescription drugs have been easier to get than tampons at a gas station. And
Hmm.
that's not good. While people are still being prosecuted for having marijuana on them in certain states, it's just kind of crazy. Like
Yeah.
that different. But this it's just the society we live in. So.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I'm like sitting here like, yeah, I just accept it.
No, I unfortunately I have to, and it's like Oklahoma where I live, they just like settled a lawsuit against one of the companies that like was pushing, it was like Oxy or something, and
Oh
like
wow.
bribing doctors to prescribe it. There's a whole thing.
What?
Whole thing. I'm sure Jess knows a lot about it.
Oh
It's,
my
it's a whole thing.
god. Terrible.
But that's why so many I think it like really started in like the 50s,
Hmm.
but then it just kept progressing, and that like I don't even know the numbers off the top of my head, but it's pretty ridiculous how many people in like our parents' demographic have been doing those for a very long time, and we just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's there are a lot of instances where I can kind of remember some older people around me. I wouldn't say they were abusing prescription drugs, but for pain and stuff like that. Like my grandmother had arthritis, so we became really comfortable, having people take prescription. There became a lot of distrust in the black community to the medical community because of that.
Yep.
And that's kind of one of the reasons why even today, you have a lot not wanting to even consider the vaccine from our community, and I understand. Tuskegee did happen. Let's not forget, but I mean,
There's so much more.
yeah, no, yeah, but I mean that's like the biggest one you think about, and
Right.
all that shit's mad. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to speak on how they feel because I don't feel the same way, but I
Right.
understand it. I understand the pause. But
I
that's
have a
neither
lot of
here.
hesitancy myself when it comes to doctors. So
Yeah, I know
like,
you said you've been through a lot where you
mhm.
had X-rays and MRIs and all kinds of tests indicating exactly what you're saying, but for whatever reason they don't believe what's coming out of your mouth, even though the paperwork's there from another signed physician. So I can't imagine
it's too
dealing with
much.
that. I can't. I when I went to my doctor when I broke my foot, he didn't know my foot was broken. Yeah, so he was like, "Well, we took an X-ray. Everything looked okay." I was like, "Really? It hurts so bad." And you see how he's like, "Yeah, it's swelling a lot. Let's make sure we put it on ice. I'm gonna give you some. I think he gave me like Advil or ibuprofen, something like that." So I walk to work and I'm like, man, I'm just like going through it. I'm like, he thinks it's a bad sprain. So then I get a call my next day in the office and he's like, I'm in the bathroom. I'm like trying to walk to the stall and he calls me. He's like, hey, yeah? I'm like, yes. Like, so I revisited your x-ray and there is a fracture. I was like, oh, there is. He's like, yeah. I need you to come back in right away. I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm on the bus, by the way, right? So like I take the bus like all the way to his office and he prescribes me the right medicine and I get like this giant walking boot. It's like
Right.
Thanos' shoe. And I got to wear it for like 6 to 8 weeks or something like
So
that.
cool, dude. So cool.
Oh yeah. I was able to get past the lines at Magic Mountain. It was great. It was great. Good times. I think I still have that thing. I have to use it.
I've never broken anything.
Never?
Never.
Oh,
And I've done some
good for
shit.
you, man. That shit doesn't feel good, let me tell you. I did it while I was drunk too. So
bro.
it took me out of my drunken stupor so fast. Like I'm walking drunk,
Did you
You
do
know,
that?
I was drunk. They threw us out of a bar. I was so drunk. I barely remember that part. Like I was, my boy David drunk me under the table. I was drinking. I started falling asleep at the bar, and David was like, "Man, we gotta go. They're kicking us out. You can't fall asleep at the bar." I was like, "Oh my god, all right, let's go." And like I remember a little of that, and then we start walking in this alleyway. It's like behind Hollywood Boulevard, and you know how there's this like divot in the middle for like storm drainage or whatever, in like the middle of like some alleyways or whatever, kind of like this. So I somehow rolled my foot and ankle on the edge of that and broke my shit. Stumbling around, bumbling while I'm drunk. And I shit you not, I wake up out of my drunkenness. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, David, my foot. I need your help. And he's like, what's going on, sir? Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know what just happened. My foot, I think I rolled my ankle. He's like, all right. And he like helps me. And I'm like, I just need you to get me to the bus stop. Get on the bus stop. I get, I'm like, dude, this is bad. So I get on my cell phone. I call my roommate. I'm like, yo, Potts, I need you to pick me up from Fairfax and Pico. Okay? I don't think I can take another bus after this, bro. This shit is hurting so bad. He's like, yeah, man. That's actually perfect timing. I was just about to go to Tito's. You want something while I'm there? I'm like, yes. Get me a taco, a burrito, some chips, and some salsa. He picks me up the food. He picks me up. He like helps me get into the backseat. I'm like, oh my god, my foot, bro. Like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I rolled it in the fucking alleyway. I'm drunk as shit. He's like, man, that sucks. So he helps me get upstairs. We eat. I fall asleep, and I wake up the next morning. And I think it's a dream. I'm like, oh my god, that was so fucking crazy. So my stupid ass gets up like I can walk, and I fall out. I'm like, oh my god, my foot! And my other roommate's there, Mackenzie, and she's like, are you all right? I'm like, man, my foot. She looks at it. She's like, oh my god, that thing is swollen. I'm like, yeah. Like, let's go to your doctor, man. And that's when I got the X-ray, and he was like, yeah, you're good. Like, you don't see my shit. So yeah.
He's probably one of those sleep deprived doctors.
Man, I love that's my man. Dr. S is the man. Like, I love him. He just fucked up this one time. After that, he like never fucked up again. You know what I'm saying? They get like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be open to giving them another chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he fucked up that one time and then never fucked up again. I'm like, what can I say? He learned from his
mistakes. He was gonna call me back.
I kind of felt like he needed to, because I'm like, dude, I'm in like agony, like real agony.
So great. I've seen somebody drunkenly break their foot before. And
God, it sucks,
it was
man.
Traumatizing.
He probably woke up right out that drunk, didn't he? Like he immediately.
Pole, like outside of a restaurant. He was climbing up a pole and got very far to where he was almost at the roof of the restaurant and fell off that bitch.
Oh no! I'm
shit face standing right there for a work function, bro.
Oh no!
A work function, bro.
That open bar will do it to you.
And he's just laying there like Peter Griffin with his ankle in his hand, just like. And we were like, "Okay, Brian, you're going to the freaking hospital right now."
Oh my god! Yeah, I'll never drink like that again. Definitely not.
I was gonna ask if that was like during the time period that you smoke.
No, so I had just gotten off of work, and my boy wanted to go drinking at this bar that's like right next to our job, and it was Friday night, so I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, like I'm down. Happy hour, drink's gonna be really cheap. Later on, some other coworkers are supposed to be meeting us there, so cool, I'm down. I got too drunk before they even showed up, and that's and then I broke my foot after that. So like it was like when they saw me on Monday, they're like, oh. Damn, I was like, yeah, man, I don't know what happened to my foot. Like, I mean, it's not broken, my doctor said. And he's like, damn, dude, they told us they kicked you guys out. It's like, they told you? It's like, yeah. They know your name and everything. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, you had like a whole conversation with the bartender, I guess. I was like, I did? It's like, yeah. Like, fuck, man, that was, it was a rough night. But
I've had rough alcohol nights like that, but I've never broken any bones.
Count yourself as lucky. It is not something I wish on anybody. No.
Did you drink a lot of milk as a kid?
I did. I actually used to drink like too much. I remember my grandmother got mad at me because I drank a gallon of milk inside of 3 days. Like inside of 3 days. Like I just was fucking gobbling it up. I don't know why I liked it so much. And you know what's funny now? I don't want that shit with anything but like cookies or cereal. Like I can't, you know how like you see people have like a glass of milk with their meal? Like, oh, I'll have the steak and baked potato and a glass of milk. It's like, that grosses me out now. But now, like, and I used to do that. I used to have a glass of milk with our fucking tacos, man. I remember that shit. Like, how did I do that?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it as a kid. I just really liked it. Yeah, I know. Instead of like a Coke. And I remember that was like one of the few times my parents would like be okay with me drinking soda when I was a kid.
Sorry, I gotta leave.
I know, man. I it's hard to admit. I'll be honest. But I ain't scared. I used to like milk. I really, really did. Now
Most people
it's
that I ask if they or that I know of broken bones, they've drank a lot of milk when they were
really.
kids, and I didn't. I didn't drink any milk.
You didn't drink no milk. What'd you drink? Like
Uh,
almond milk,
Back then, it was really only soy milk
soy milk.
or like Lactaid, which tasted so bad back then. It's a lot better now,
Yeah, lactate
but
is the shit now.
I'm I'm lactose intolerant, and they knew
Oh,
that from a
okay.
very young age. So
Oh, so you can't
I
even
was
have like
always
ice cream, or
I don't like it.
you don't like ice cream? Not like any flavor?
I mean, if I'll take like a bite or two, like, but I can't do it too much. No, I don't like sweet stuff that much. I'd say
Oh
that, and I
man.
just ate like 4 Rochers.
Oh, I fucking love
Oh my
those.
God, that
I
they're
love
so
those.
good.
Those are
They don't put
good.
hazelnut in anything, and it's just so smooth. But
I don't know why they don't. It should be in a lot more shit. Like I would love to see like hazelnut waffles, pancakes, like everywhere though. You know, not just like
Mhm,
specialty places. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
It's so
mhm.
good. It yeah. I don't
It
want to go too
definitely
deep into
is.
it because I'll have to talk for another hour about food. Which actually is a good segue to my next question. What's your favorite stoner food? When you're high, what is like your go-to snack? Is it the fruit snacks?
Honestly, yeah,
Really?
because like I'm a very food conscious person.
Oh my
Like,
god. I wish I
and
had
well,
that.
so like growing up, my grandma, like, she was a Whole Foods person,
Oh
like in the
wow.
90s. So she was like ahead of the curve,
Oh
you
wow.
know?
Smart lady.
And I used to always joke because I was a little shithead, and I'd be like, yeah, my grandma just eats twigs and berries. Like, she's like a fucking hippie, you know? And
Twix berries.
but like, she was the reason why I knew I was allergic to everything, because my mom had
Oh
me when she was
wow.
18, so she didn't know fuck all.
Oh wow.
And my grandma was just like, yeah, you're probably feeling like that because you had, you know, milk and cereal. Or like, oh, well, you did have this popsicle for the first time. I wonder, there's something in the popsicle that you might be allergic to. I'm allergic to red dye.
Oh my
Um,
god.
like, so she was always like a hypochondriac where she was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't feel good. It must have been because I had garlic earlier. Like, so she rubbed that off on me. And I was always just preferring health foods for like those reasons. And like, she'd be like, oh, well, you eat ramen noodles at your house, but you don't have, migraines when you're here, and I don't let you eat ramen noodles. So it's probably the MSG in the ramen noodles. So I was like
Oh
8 years
my
old,
god.
just like woke as fuck about food.
That's good though. That is a
Yeah.
very good discipline to take with you for the rest of your days.
Yeah.
I
And like,
am
even when I'm high, it's
really,
really hard to turn that off.
damn, that's really
Or
good that
like,
she imparted that on you.
I don't want to eat like, because I smoke heavily at night. I smoke a little bit like throughout the day if I need to, but like I smoke
Mhm.
heavily at night, and I don't want to eat a ton of food like while I'm sitting here playing video games. So like, I'm gonna fucking grab some fruit snacks. They're low calorie. They don't have a lot of sugar,
Mhm.
and
They're good as fuck.
they're fucking amazing.
Yeah. Real facts.
I
The red
I eat my
ones.
baby's fruit snacks. Like
Not the big. Oh god.
it, just the way that the cookie crumbled for me.
Yeah.
I fuck with those fruit snacks. I used to eat popcorn every time. Like a
Mm,
whole Costco, specifically the Kirkland brand popcorn.
really?
I
My
would just
girlfriend
pop
gets
one of
that.
those. It's so fucking good, dude.
Every so often when
It's
we
like
go to
it's
we got to start shopping at Costco more. Like we always get the membership and just don't put in the effort to go
you
and
gotta do it, bro.
just like so we don't have to get shit for like a year. It's just we don't have like the storage space. I think is the main reason we don't, because a lot of that
I
stuff is
understand.
bulk. You know what I mean? So it's like we'd have to like buy like a shelf to put it over here and just like stack a bunch of that shit up there. Like, all right, we got like paper towels, toilet paper, like everything for the next 3 years.
But they have some of the best paper towels and toilet paper, I'll tell you that.
Kirkland brand.
$16. Man, I so bougie, bro. Like I will literally be like, oh god, I can't wait to get home and use my toilet paper.
Oh my god! No, you did. Oh, she got cut again.
Why does it keep doing this to me?
I don't know. If you have OBS open, that might be why. Oh, you
I
don't?
don't know.
I know that like if your camera is like linked to any other like applications, it might like switch out. That happened to me. That's
Yeah.
why like I closed everything.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything open really. Just a web browser,
Oh, then
my
no.
task manager, and my
No,
mouse.
That's all right.
settings.
I only have like a couple more questions, and I'm pretty much
No, yeah,
done
no.
anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I know this is a silly question, but I think,
We're high. There's no silly question.
well, you know what I mean. It's just I don't usually ask this, and I thought about it. I was like, I don't know why I've never asked anybody this because I think everybody has one. What is your stoner movie? Because I think everybody has like a movie that they watch that is indicative of what they feel like the proverbial 420 life is, and there's a few like there's like How High, Friday, and for me, it's Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. When that's like my proverbial stoner movie. It's indicative of what I always did when I would get high with my friends. We would like get high and think of something really good to eat. And at the time, it's like we're in LA, so it's like, okay, we could go get In-N-Out, or we could go to a place in Woodland Hills called Douglas and get these really great French fries. Like there was a few places like that were like the spots. So when Harold and Kumar came out, that shit spoke to me. I was like, oh my god, I feel this mission they're on. Like I've been on this mission so many times, I can dig it. So when they get that White Castle at the end of the movie, and it's almost like ecstasy in their mouth, I felt that.
Right. I love that movie.
Oh
That's
yeah,
actually-
the first one. Yeah, the first one. I don't know about
Yes.
them other shits, but the first one for
those are
sure.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
The ones that I always go to if I want to get high and watch a movie, Grandma's Boy.
Oh my god, classic.
Yeah, that one's very high up there. I have had it on DVD for a very long time. It's coveted.
Coveted. I can dig it.
But I mean, Friday, depending on how melanated I'm feeling that day. But Don't Be a Menace
That's low key, like, yeah.
is
Yeah.
like probably the one that I go to like 9 times out of 10.
Damn. I feel it.
Like I saw a TikTok recently where this chick was trying to pick out what pipe she was going to smoke from, and she was like, but she had on like different outfits too, like different chilling and smoking outfits, and she was like, should I use this pipe and this outfit? Like kind of like in Don't Be a Menace when he's like, should I get the Uzi with the high tops?
I gotta watch that. It's
I-
been so long since I've sat down and watched that.
It's ridiculous.
It's
like
yeah, I know.
always in my head. It's so bad. But when I first started smoking, though, it was Nacho Libre.
Nacho
why.
Libre? That is super
I don't know
random.
why.
I've
very
only seen
random.
that movie one time, I think. And I don't know. I love Jack Black too, so
It was different.
yeah, that's the best way. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I'll go with that.
But my mom is from, like, her dad is from the part in Mexico where that's filmed,
No way.
and like it kind of made fun of a lot of stereotypes that are
That's
very relevant.
funny. That's funny.
I thought that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, I can do.
And some of the dudes in there looked a lot like my mother. So
Oh wow, some of the dudes here too.
just like long haired, like village Oaxaca, Mexico people. Yeah, their genetics, they all look a lot like my mother.
And did she grow up there, or is she like first generation?
A little bit.
Oh, okay, so she was there for.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
like back and forth because my grandma liked to think that she could live a life south of the border up until like 2 years ago.
Oh damn.
Like she's gone back and forth trying to live in Mexico or Guatemala or
Yeah.
pretty much those two places like my entire life.
Damn.
I lived in Guatemala for a little bit because of it.
Really?
So like, yeah, it's fucking beautiful, dude. You
Really?
guys,
Oh
it's
man.
actually also very cheap to go there. If you can get on some passports or something, that's a great place to
I
go
need
check
to
out.
do the passport thing because I when this clears up, I definitely want to be able to go to Canada. In general, I've
Some
always wanted to go
syrup
up there.
flavored marijuana, yeah.
Yes, yes. The
Sounds real good, eh?
some maple OG. Yes, yes. I will be looking for that at the closest convenience
We gotta
store.
figure out how to make that a strain if they haven't already.
Oh man, I'm sure they
TM,
do.
trademark. I'll be learning that now.
Speaking into existence, I feel you. Speaking into existence. So, what is your favorite strain and your favorite means of smoking it?
You know, right now, it would probably have to be the like cherry gelato, cherry icy. It's got different names depending on where you are, but they have gelato ones out right now that just they feel so nice for me.
Is it like a oil or
Um, I do get it as an oil.
okay?
Let me see if I can look up its little profile real quick.
So you
Because I'm not like I switch it up a lot.
oh yeah,
Because I mean, I'm in Oklahoma and it's fairly new here, so they're constantly on a rotation. Like nowhere is really too
okay,
consistent.
I got you, I got you.
But
So it comes in oil and flour.
mhm. Cherry OG, cherry gorilla, cherry icy. Mm.
And do you typically just vape it, or do you have
Oh,
like
it's all from
a
this year. Yeah, I've
do you
got
have
my
like a
little oil concentrate pen.
you don't dab it?
No, I don't. It's a lot of stuff to have around for
Yeah,
a 3-year-old.
yeah, yes, yes. So that
Yeah. So we well that and my husband breaks a lot of our pipes and
really,
rigs and stuff.
I do
So
too. I do too. We're clumsy, okay? Women
so,
have
yeah.
grace and finesse and all that. We like if I put a bong anywhere near me, every so often I'll break that shit. It sucks.
I had a
Um,
pipe for like 4 years, and within like the first year of being together, it was broken.
Listen, it's not his
So
fault, okay?
no, it's not. I don't blame him at all. He got me a even better one after
Oh,
that. So
good. See, I'm saying that was like an investment pipe. You were
yeah.
investing it to see if whether or not he could be trusted, right?
Well, there was a large like emotional tie to it because I had intentionally only bought local Kansas City made pipes.
Oh
So
wow,
it was like
respect.
it was
That's what's up.
it was a local glass, and I spent a lot of money on that little fucking thing. I mean, it was actually really fucking cool. I'll have to find a video of it and send it to you. But
Yeah. See, I don't
yeah,
have anything as cool to say about the glass that I can. I just buy whatever I can get my hands on that does the job. Unfortunately, I mean, I used to like
yeah,
be
no,
like
that's how
deep
I am
into
now.
like, well, yeah, well, I used to be deep into like, like sheltered black bongs and like designer
Gotta
made
have the
bongs with the label,
triple
yeah, triple,
fucking
yeah, like all this and I
percolator,
and
whatever.
eventually I just kind of got to the point where it's like, dude, one percolator's fine. I prefer beaker bongs, but I'm okay with like straight shots, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And it just kind of got to a point where whatever works. And
Hmm.
now I usually just vape or I smoke a joint. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when I first started, obviously my first time was with a bong,
Hmm.
and that was traumatizing. So I didn't smoke out of a bong for like years. I insisted on just using papers, and then I stopped smoking cigarettes and around that time, I was like, oh, I gotta stop smoking paper because it makes me want to smoke cigarettes again.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like it's just the action of doing it. So then I switched to glass, and I was like, I don't like any of these pipes. And then that's when I got picky, and I was like, well, I want something that looks a lot cooler, that like I'm gonna like enjoy looking at every day. It's gonna make it feel,
Yeah.
like
It puts you in the mood.
thing.
Yeah, just the look of
And I
it.
got one that changes colors as you like smoke. Like the glass,
Yeah.
as you use it longer, it changes the
It changes
colors
the
to like
color.
crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, yeah, I had that thing for so long.
And he broke. Well,
Okay.
I hope we get you some more that change colors. But yeah, I mean that's gonna pretty much wrap up the interview. I mean, was there anything you wanted to comment on, or any shout outs you want to give for your socials? I'm gonna put them in the YouTube video and the link in the bio and everything.
Okay. I did have one more thing, because you did ask me before, or you said that you wanted to ask like how I manage with my kid.
Oh right,
And
yeah.
I felt like that's kind of important, because I have a lot of anxiety from my childhood, and I am like constantly at like, this is the worst, like the worst thing that could happen is about to happen. And then I'm also like the complete opposite, where like I don't really care. I don't have motivation to do anything, so like I have this range of of day-to-day feelings where like the anxiety causes me to feel at one extreme or a complete opposite. And sometimes weed's the only thing that levels me out. Like it makes you able to be more yourself, depending, and like a lot of that has to do with my pain. So if I'm in pain and I go to the playground, I can't really be like fun and interactive doing what I want to do. I'm just down because I don't feel good. And it helps a lot in that regard. But like usually I don't smoke during the day. I mostly just smoke at night, unless I'm having a really hard time physically.
And it legitimately helps you with the pain that you do.
And like so much of it, though, because it's nerve like pain, it's the muscles becoming tense in my back. And so sometimes when I smoke, it allows me to relax just enough to pop my spine so that I can immediately feel relief. Like I need that wave of relaxation,
Pop? What you mean pop? Like
I can go like this, I go like this,
okay.
Like I usually can't.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm just tense all the time.
Have you seen like a chiropractor about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go to the chiropractor like every day for it to be beneficial. So my husband's actually learned how to pop my back. But like for people who deal with chronic pain, it can be very effective if you have the right kind of weed.
Yeah, it's just we lack so much research in the United States. The actual good that it can do. I mean, only Israel has really released a study about the positive effects of marijuana. Did a lot of in-depth research. I'll definitely be probably reacting to that study in one of the podcasts, but it's just really sad that we're not doing here in the United States by trained physicians and scientists that understand the craft and the biology of it all.
Well, even then, when you have that, you got to look at who's paying for them to study it.
Yeah.
Because there is, unfortunately, there's no such thing as a like study without bias.
That's true.
Like
all the studies we've done out here have been negatively biased. Every study that I looked at, like every CDC study that I was able to look up, it's all negative. It's how it can, mess with your memory, how it can, ruin your ability to have like a social relation, so many different things that are adverse to how I actually see it. And I just thought that was really That's all the CDC offered. It didn't offer anything about how it helps people with cancer going through chemo, or how it helps people that deal with seizures, negate them or even stave them off. It just nothing about that. So I just find it kind of unsettling. So hopefully that'll
Yeah.
change in the near
They're
future.
trying to twist the narrative for
Yeah.
other people's benefit.
Yeah, well, it could be for Big Pharma's benefit. And no.
Yeah.
Yes, no, you're right.
Yep.
I don't disagree.
No, it's really sad. That's how the cookie crumbles here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully conversations like this can help open people's eyes to things. I think it's really important to have these discussions because back and forth needs to be publicized. I think a
Right.
lot of people kind of still frown upon it, call it dope, have a stigma against it, ruining your ambitions and taking drive. I think that's all bullshit.
I'm 28 years old, a 3.9 GPA, mother of a 3-year-old, also trying to manage streaming and content creation, and I smoke weed regularly.
Exactly.
I'm managing all of that and smoking weed at the same time. Like, weed is not what it once was.
Yeah.
And people need to know that. Like, your CFO, your CEO, your manager,
Right.
they
Yeah.
all probably smoke weed or worse. So
These are
open
big
your
facts.
heart a little bit and open your eyes, do some research, and follow my Twitch.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Dom. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. You take it easy. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
All right, everyone. That's the end of episode 5 of The Lifted Opinion. Really enjoying bringing you guys these engaging conversations and kind of showing the other side of marijuana. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you are, leave a like, subscribe, help your boy out, and look out for the next episode that I'll be uploading on the page. And look out for her socials in case you want to follow her on Twitch or Twitter. All those will be in the description below. Have a wonderful one. Stay real, and I'll see you guys in the next video.